You're watching a special edition of WPTV To The Point.
I want to move on to unemployment in the Sunshine State here, Senator, because it's been one of the most frustrating roadblocks in the last week for Floridians, watching the unemployment application process just really collapse. Understanding that this is a state-run program. So many of your constituents are really struggling with this between the SBA loan denial and now the unemployment backlog in the state. They're at their wits' end, really, at this point. Brittany from Jupiter asks, how do I pay my rent if I'm still not receiving unemployment, which I applied for on March 20th, and my stimulus check went to other bills like my car payment and my groceries? How can you get involved, Senator, at the state level and assist Floridians in this process?
Well, she just, in that very question, she pointed out exactly why I've been so angry about the delay in the funding for PPE, why I was so upset that it took us a week to pass that bill up in Congress while we delayed for 72 hours because somebody, Speaker Pelosi showed up and asked for a bunch of things that had nothing to do with this crisis. It's why I was upset last week when they held PPP hostage. Every day matters. Every day matters. And in terms of comparing PPP and unemployment, think about it. Unemployment system exists now. Now, no state in the country has an unemployment system built to handle the number of claims that we're facing right now, but it's an existing program.
I want to jump in with this last question because we're almost out of time here. The overriding theme, really, in terms of concern from viewers when we ask them and we posed questions, what would you like to hear from the senator? It really centered around their financial lives. So this suggestion, it's really a suggestion, comes from Fran here in our area. Can't the government encourage banks to move, not forgive, but just move 3 months of mortgage, car, and credit card payments to the back end of the loans and stop the interest accrual for that time? This would greatly help the average American worker. And it seems to be in line with what the Trump administration was trying to do when he pitched the 0% payroll tax rate to try to help employers out there, Senator.
The answer is that may very well be what we're going to have to end up doing because, or something like it, because ultimately, even if we reopen tomorrow to some degree, this economic downturn is going to be felt for months, if not years. That's the bottom line. It's not going to go back to the way things were on March 1st. The economic pain will continue even after some economic activity starts, not to mention the fact that people are going to have their credit ruined, not to mention the fact that even if the economy is reopening, there may not be an employer ready to hire you because they have startup costs. So there's no doubt that as we move forward and look at recovery, ideas like that or something similar to it is something we're going to have to do. I don't think there's any debate or dispute that we are not done dealing with this for months, if not years ahead. This is unlike any other economic challenge we've ever faced because this one has no logical end to it. It's one that will continue over some period of time, even after we reopen parts of our economy.
So on that note, Senator, we know you're part of the congressional group that's tasked with reopening the country. Your final thoughts and your message to Floridians as we move through this really stressful time, both fiscally and physically.
That this is an unprecedented time for everybody. I just want everybody to understand that. And what I've tried to do is, in an emergency situation, the worst thing you can do is not act. And when you act quickly and when you act fast to deal with a crisis, mistakes are going to be made, things are going to slip through the cracks, and unintended consequences are going to happen. There's no doubt. But that is far less worse. The worst thing that could happen is nothing at all. And when you see me, I'm frustrated by money that's being held up, by negotiations over how much money is going to go back into PPP over other things. What frustrates me is that I know that every day that goes by without action is a day that people are going to miss bills, are going to have anxiety, are not going to be able to pay things, are theoretically going to be able to buy food for their families. This is no time to be playing games. We have to act quickly and decisively, even if the action is not perfect. Not doing anything is by far the worst thing that can happen in a crisis. That's the way I've approached this from the beginning, and that's the way I'm going to continue to approach it.
Senator Marco Rubio via Skype out of Miami. Thanks for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks.
We'll be right back. And thank you for watching this special edition of To The Point and for sharing your questions with us tonight. We're here for you through this. We're in it together. We're trying to get you the information you need to keep your family safe and get your businesses back up and running. Stay safe and good night.